All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another live stream here. I'm just getting all set up. Good morning to you guys. Thanks very much for showing up. We are going to be jumping back into the markets, talking about the currency exchange market, seeing what's going on in terms of some of the different major currency pairs. We've got some interesting movements going on this morning. Depending on where you are, happy morning to you or good afternoon to you. I know some of you guys are in Europe, some of you are in Asia, Africa, all over the place. And some of you are also here in North America. So thanks very much for tuning in wherever you are. Real quick as we get going, where are you guys from? Text me or message me in the stream chat where in the world you're tuning in from. It's always cool to see where we have our viewers tuning in from. A lot of times we'll see a lot of people from England. We'll see people from, different parts of Asia, and sometimes people in Africa. It's always cool to see. So share, if you would like to, share where you're tuning in from as we get going. I'll give people a minute just to tune into the stream, and we'll get started with our usual technical analysis here. Euro New Zealand is really moving interesting this morning. I do have a long position open currently on this trade. I'm in profit nicely so far. We'll see if it can continue. Again, you never know with so much volatility right now with Euro New Zealand. As we do break out clean, you can see we'll see if it can continue. If it decides to turn back, no big deal. We look to close out the trade and move on. So we have people... Oh, change the date? Yeah, you're right. Let me change the date. I'm changing the date right now. It is correct. January 6th. Thank you very much. Atlanta, Georgia. Awesome. Good to see you. Toronto, Poland, Scotland, Italy, Lao PDR. I'm not sure where that is. Toronto again. China, Bangkok, Pakistan, Barbados, Holland, Qatar, Morocco, Nepal, Somalia, Algeria. Look at that. Nigeria, Mongolia, Philippines, Morocco. Really cool to see you guys tuning in from the different places around the world. Thank you very much for showing up to the live stream here as we get going. It's always kind of cool to see where people are tuning in from and ask a question while we wait for enough people to tune in. We do these every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Depending on where you are in the world, you have to convert that to your own time frame or time zone. But we do these every day at 10 a.m. Eastern in the U.S. I get on here and I do my own analysis and I share my thoughts and processes with you guys. So hopefully you get something out of it. If you are new to the stream, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can come back and see this content in the future. The best way to do that would be to hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button. So anyways, taking a look here at Euro New Zealand, I do have a long trade open on this particular pair right now that I'd like to just talk about briefly. I am long off of the idea of this previous resistance point did break pretty clean and following through right now so far. We'll see if that can continue. But the idea being that when price decided to break above that key level, I looked to get long right around this area here. So on the break of that structure, we did have an upward biased market, right? A lot of pressure to the upside here on Euro New Zealand right now. And as we broke through, I took a small buy trade here, looking to capture some momentum. So we'll see if that trade can work out. For those of you guys who are VIP members, if you're watching some of my short-term trades, we've had a couple losers recently, which is never fun, of course. But drawdowns happen. That's part of trading. And so hopefully this trade can continue to the upside and we'll see some more momentum on Euro New Zealand. Now, if we back it up really quick, Euro New Zealand, let's take a look at the hourly chart. Actually, no, let's take a look at the 4-hour. Let's see if we have anything here. Okay, so hourly wise, there are some levels that I'm interested in seeing price make a move to. So for example, this zone right here, you can see this is kind of a fresh level. Actually, I'll expand it a little bit, make it a little bit cleaner on the 4-hour chart here. Right? So we are looking on the 4-hour chart. My bias here right now with Euro New Zealand is in fact bullish, thinking that we could make our way up into this area here, right? If we look left, you can see we had support hold very nicely here. We had a hold here again. And then when we broke through, it even acted as resistance before falling down. So my idea here is that this key level could be a resistance point to maybe even target in the short term. So if price does decide to continue to pop to the upside, I'm looking to take my trade off in profit if we can get up into that area. Of course, that's just my trade. Do your own analysis, make your own trades. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to just share my own analysis and what I'm thinking about or what I'm interested in doing in the foreign exchange market. So that's my idea right now on Euro New Zealand, is I think we have a little bit more upside potential. But while we're on Euro New Zealand, let's take a look at the daily chart and see what we have going on with this particular pair. Now we do have a downtrend structure. We are trading underneath this 200 period. As you guys may know, if you watch my stream on a regular basis, I like the 200 as a longer term filter. So you might be saying, well, Nick, why are you taking a long trade if the price is underneath the 200 period? Well, my bias here remains longer term might be bearish, but it doesn't mean that I won't take a bullish trade if I see one that I like. We did have the counter trend set up. We did have a break to the upside, and I like the setup, so I took the trade. And I'm looking to get out of the way of sellers if this market does stretch a bit further, but I think that there are some levels that we could look for, even longer term, as healthy pullback zones, right? So even though I might be bearish just because we are under the 200 and I might be more biased towards bearish trades, we still have room to potentially come up and tag a level like this, which might even line up with the 200 period SMA, right? You might even have, you have this level of resistance here, which could be an interesting level to look for, right? Even in a downward market, a lot of times you have pullbacks, and pullbacks are a healthy component of a market. So is it technically counter trade? I guess you could make the point that yes, maybe it would be considered counter trade to take or counter trend trade to take a buy trade when the market is overall up to the downside. But there is a healthy room to run here. I'm trading on the short-term time frame, so there might be some, in my opinion, there might be some room to see some more bullishness on the Euro New Zealand. Again, I can be wrong, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm always correct, because I certainly am not, and no trader really is. So the idea of being profitable doesn't necessarily mean that you're right all the time. It means that you're really right when you're right, and when you're wrong, you deal with it and you close it out, no problem. Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much for tuning in. I do hope that you're having a fantastic day. We're taking a look at the markets. We just got done taking kind of a look here at Euro New Zealand. Again, I'm watching this because I have a trade open on the long side here. It is technically a counter trend trade, but it was a counter trend breakout that I really liked. And we'll see if we can get some continuation, or if price is going to roll over and stop me out. No big deal. We'll look to adapt with what the market decides to do. Next up, let's take a look at the pound. I know a lot of people are watching the pound right now to see what's going on with this pair. And I'd like to take a look at it on the 4-hour chart. And my key reasoning here is that, okay, we have a pretty clearly defined trend line level of resistance, okay? We have this high. This was the recent structure high. We had a lot of, this was election news. We had a lot of news come out that was bullish for the pound, obviously, and price rallied up to that 1.35 area, okay? And when price got there, you can see it turned around very sharply, and we saw a big, steep sell-off. Well, sure enough, with all the volatility, the pound started to rise very sharply as well. But here's a key thing that I saw on the pound that has kind of switched my bias to be a little bit more bearish. You can see here, this level right here, putting in a lower high, okay? We were having higher highs. We were having a strong, solid trend to the upside. Well, we had a lower high come in, which shows potential weakness to the trend, okay? It shows potential weakness to the pound movement. You might say, no, that doesn't tell you anything. It's not going to tell you where it's going to go. You're right. It's not going to 100% tell us where the market will go from here with certainty. What it does tell us when we have a lower high is, let's think about this from an objective standpoint. When price closes lower like this, right, and it fails to continue to go up like this, what that shows us is that sellers are strong enough to hold the price down, and more importantly, in my opinion, buyers are not strong enough to break through and continue the upward momentum. This sharp rejection that we saw play out here on the pound showed us that sellers were strong in this area, right? That doesn't guarantee that they're going to continue to sell the market down. What it does tell us, though, is that there are sellers in the general vicinity historically, and there's a good chance that we could see the continued pressure of sellers along this trend line. So that's a level that I'm looking for here on pound dollar, is to see how price reacts to this area along the trend line. We also have some horizontal levels, of course. If we started to see the breakout of this trend line, that might be something to look out for as well, right? You have resistance here, you have resistance here. So these are levels to look out for in terms of going forward, right? On the shorter time frames, if you are a short-term, maybe day trader or something, maybe you look for trades there, right? There might be the movement. If we did see the breakout, right, you could see pullbacks in that area. That sort of thing could be on your mind for your own analysis and your own trades there. Again, dropping it down to the 1-hour chart really quick here on the pound. Some momentum here in the morning, but we do have, again, that trend line kind of near in play. So I would be cautious personally on the long side, just because I think that, the price did pull back. We did have a nice clean bounce off of this trend line here, right? But the idea being that we are pretty near the top of this longer term sell trend line that we do see. So if price comes up to that area, my bias initially would be that I think we could see sell pressure in favor of that kind of lower high that we did just recently see. Awesome. Studying Forex and trading on a demo, good for you. I recommend demos. The thing about demo accounts is that demo accounts, they are good and bad. Demo accounts are good. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just share a little bit of a rant on this. So when we're talking about demo accounts, okay, demo accounts, are they good or are they bad? Demo accounts, okay? The idea being that if you don't know what a demo account is, if you're new to Forex, demo basically meaning it's not real money. It's fake money. And I'm going to just really quickly talk about my opinion on the pros and cons of this. Okay, so if you're trading with a demo account right now, I'm going to talk about the pros and the cons of using fake money to ideally learn more about trading. Well, obviously that's a perk right there, is by using a demo account, you can learn basics, okay? And what I mean by that is executing trades, identifying setups, placing trades with a good risk to reward, planning a strategy, testing concepts, right? That's maybe the other one, testing, right? So if you have a concept that you would like to test mechanically, you can test things with a demo account. That's a huge perk. And guess what? The best part of that is you're testing without losing any money. So even if you lose everything in the account, you would only be in test mode. So it's okay if things don't work out, right? Now, some other pros, so you can learn the basics, you can definitely test your strategies, you can also you can become more fluid in terms of execution, right? So what that means is that if you're a new trader, right, let's say that you're just getting involved in the markets and you're learning about what it means to be long, what it means to be short, what it means to use a limit order, a buy stop order, you can use a demo account to test out those concepts and actually build an understanding or get comfortable with the basics as well as the fluid, the execution of actual trades and setups and that sort of thing. So are there perks to having a demo account? Yes, absolutely. I think that if you're using a demo account and you're using it for the following reasons, that could be a great way to use a demo account. But let's talk a little bit about the cons, just so that you want to hear the good and the bad of any sort of idea. The cons about using a demo account are that emotions and psychological discipline are not really super, involved when it comes to a demo account. So you don't learn that much about emotions, okay? And at least this is me speaking on my own behalf and from the traders that I've spoken with, this tends to be kind of the case, is when you're talking about a demo account, the downside is that you learn not very much about what it actually means to have real money on the line and the emotional swings that come with that. When things go really well, right? When you have, good things happening for your account, or when you have things that are going very bad for your account, you don't really have an emotional commitment or tie because there's no real money on the line. So for the same reason that it's very good for testing, where it's not going to hurt you if things go wrong, it also can hurt you because you don't learn about the emotional side of things. And so one of the key components to that is you don't learn about the pain of drawdown. Okay? The pain of drawdown is real. I'm sure that some of you guys who have been trading for a little bit longer, or you are, now you've been doing it for a little bit, you know that when you have real money on the line and it's drawing down, meaning that your account is negative, or you're holding on to some trades that are going really poorly, or you have a string of losses, right? That is painful. And to this day, for me and my trading, I've been trading for years. Drawdown is still painful, right? And understanding how to manage drawdown is a key component to trading success. So if you don't manage that drawdown, if you don't get good at handling drawdown or handling scenarios where things are not going well, when you have a demo account, you can just close out the account and then start over. Right? Well, that's not necessarily how real trading goes. You can't always just start over because you would lose money like that, right? So that definitely is a key component to demo accounts. So those are kind of my pros and cons in terms of using a demo account. Should you use one? Should you not use one? At the end of the day, it's up to you. If you were to ask me, should you use a demo account? I would say yes if you are in testing phases, if you are trying to learn the basics. If you're brand new to Forex, there's no need to go lose a bunch of money really quickly. And if you're looking for that fluid execution. Now, but you have to know, you have to be honest with yourself and say, I'm not going to learn super, amounts about emotional control, which when you're a new trader doesn't sound like it would be very important, but it's extremely crucial to trading success. And in terms of pain of drawdown, that's something that you're going to have to learn. There's no way to learn that without having physical money on the line, in my opinion, and that's something that only comes with time. Now, I will say that my added bonus to that is that if you're going to trade with or without a demo account, your next step should be, if you're not going to be using a demo account after a certain period of time, is small deposits. Okay, small money deposits are going to be your best friend. So when you get to the point where you're ready to go live, when you're ready to go real, right, stick to a small account. A lot of times new traders, they might have some money from their work or something, and they deposit, $10, $15, $20,000 or pounds or euros to their account, and it becomes very dangerous for them, right? Because they see their account drawing down massively, they lose a bunch of money, and they have no understanding of the very important components of psychological discipline, and they end up losing a lot of money. My recommendation, at least my personal opinion, is that if I'm going to be taking a demo account and going live instead, putting real money on the line, keep that account balance very small. For me, what that would look like at this point in my life would be, let's say a $500 deposit. Okay, that would be, and no, that's not a small amount of money. Of course, that's a good chunk of change. But in terms of a trading account, that's not very large, right? A large account would be, 50,000, 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, a million, 10 million. Those are large, getting to the large accounts. A small account is, in my opinion, anywhere under $5,000 is, let's be honest, because think about this for a second, guys. You might say, Nick, that's not a small account. $5,000 is a tremendous amount of money to me. And I'm not saying that it's not. It is a significant amount of money to me as well. $5,000 is a good bit of money. But let's think about business, right? If we're going to be trading like a business, businesses usually don't start with less than $5,000, right? Most businesses. Some do, but for the most part, business requires you to put down capital. Anywhere from $5,000 to, let's say, $50,000 starting capital is pretty common for a lot of businesses. So when you're starting a business, it should be very similar to how you're starting your trading. If you want to start your trading journey off the correct way, starting with a decent capital size when you're really ready is important. But until you're really ready, you should not put that amount of money, in my opinion. You should use a small amount of money, something like $500 or less, to get the hang of real money and real execution, okay? That's my little rant there for the day. Sorry about that. I know we'll get back to the charts. Sometimes people get mad when I talk about anything except technical analysis. But, on this channel, I try and share the things that have helped me in the past to become more profitable as a trader, become more consistent. So, and those things, demo account versus real account, that's a very, very big question for a lot of traders, and myself included. What is the process of opening a trade account in the Forex market? You need a broker, so find a broker that offers accounts to your country. Thanks very much, guys, for your positive feedback. I do appreciate all the support and all the people tuned into the stream. Hope you guys are having a great day. We do these streams in case you're enjoying this, right? If this is helpful to you, if this is something that you needed to hear in your trading, come back and hang out in the future. I love it when you guys show up on a regular basis. There's a lot of you guys who come to the streams all the time. We do these every day, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. We hang out, we talk about the markets, we share ideas, and people are chatting, and it's just good stuff, and it's here for free. So why not use it? Make sure you subscribe to the channel down below. Maxwell, thank you very much for the $10. Hi, Nick. I am having difficulty in defining an edge or knowing what that even means. I have been trying, but it feels very abstract. Is an edge a fixed thing? Is it something that you could checklist? Thank you. Maxwell, great question. So talking about edges, when we're talking about an edge, right? An edge is, you asked, is it defining an edge? Is it something that's fixed? So when you're talking about a fixed edge, the markets are changing, right? So the reality of having an edge is that things are changing all the time in the markets. So what was an edge 20 years ago might be different now. So you have to be adaptive and you have to be testing things all the time. I have multiple strategies that I run. Some of them do better than others, right? And I've tested them out before doing them or running them live, and for the most part, they've done well. But there's times where certain edges work better than others, and certain things in the markets just inherently do better, right? There's times when the market's choppy or trending, and you can't know exactly what's going to happen tomorrow. So having an edge today doesn't mean that it's a guaranteed edge tomorrow. So strategies do break, things do change in the markets, and being adaptive and flowing with what's happening, that's going to take you to another level. And that's kind of a next level approach to the market. But really, what is an edge? An edge is basically saying that if you took 1,000 trades, an edge basically means that you are going to be more profitable than not, okay? Right? So for every $3 you make, you lose $1, that sort of thing. Over time, what that does is it produces an equity curve that looks like this, right? Of course, you still have strings of losses. There's still drawdowns. There's still times where things are not fun. But the idea is that long term, you have growth, and long term, you have things work out. Right now, I'm in a drawdown on my day trading account, and that happens, right? That's a component of things like, that happen. There's no, in stats, right? Even in a 90% win rate strategy, right? The statistics would still say that there is possible that you have that 10% of the time happen multiple times in a row and you have drawdown. And that's the reality and not what a lot of people want to hear, but drawdown is a component of trading. How useful are auto chartists and trading central? I'm not sure exactly the second part, but auto charting tools to me have never been super appealing. I do have tools that I use, but I don't like auto trend line drawers. I'd rather just draw them myself because I think I can see them a little bit better than software might, right? Software is objective, but sometimes, in my opinion, trading is a bit subjective by nature. So Australian dollar here, we are ranging, but what I noticed about this is you can see we did kind of have this pattern going on, and price has broken to the downside. Is it possible that we see a continued downside? Sure, we could. I also think that we could see maybe a retest of this area. Now, if you remember, I posted a video a few weeks back on Aussie dollar on the weekly chart. And I said that my bias was that things would be bullish. And we were bullish, right? For the most part, we were correct for a little bit, and price is pulling back now. So to me, I'm still maintaining my bullish idea here. I think that we could hold back to this level here on the weekly and then see a bounce off of that level. That would be my bias there. Again, my analysis, not for you to go copy and trade blindly. Sometimes people, they hear information and they assume that it's 100% guaranteed or because somebody said that the market might rise or the S&P might go up, they put all their money on it, and then they have no sort of understanding of why they did that, right? You need to understand what's going on under the hood if you're ever going to be placing trades. This is my analysis that I'm doing here, and I hope that you get something out of it, but I don't hope that I would ask that you do not just blindly copy other people. That will not take you very far in terms of trading. Aussie dollar here on the 4-hour chart, pulling back to this key level here, which is a big deal, right? We had resistance, and breakthrough, right? Now getting a pullback to that area. To me, still, again, maintaining my idea of bullishness on this particular pair. Let's take a look at on the daily really quick. That looks like a 50% retracement. Let's see if that's, just a little beyond the 50% retracement there. But this area here, we'll see if that can hold. What tool do you use to measure pips on TradingView? Check this out. So if I hold shift and then left click and then just drag where I want, see how it shows me where the pips are? You can see pips right there, okay? So that's my idea there on Aussie dollar. Let's take a quick look at the euro, see what's going on. We did see some bullishness off of this level we talked about yesterday. Talked about the idea that we could see a bullish bounce. I hope, maybe if you guys were watching the stream, I hope you caught some of that move. That would have been awesome. We did see some bullishness there on euro USD. So we'll see if that can get up to the recent structure again, or if things are going to break down further. But my bias remains just as yesterday, still bullish on this pair. Again, pulling back to a key level and above that 200 period simple moving average. That's something that I'm watching for. Let's talk about gold, because gold is absolutely crazy right now. XAU USD just absolutely tearing to the upside. We did break above, and actually this is another thing I was wrong about recently. So my idea with this gold move is that we could see a pullback at this recent high, maybe even forming a double top. I was wrong about that, right? And I think that, you know, if you get one thing out of my streams is that I'm not a perfect guru. I'm not some guy who's, you know, 100% correct about the markets. I said yesterday that I thought that the market would pull back here on gold. I was incorrect about that, right? And so understanding when you're wrong is what will make you the difference between a profitable trader and a losing trader. Is having the humility to say when you're wrong is very, very important. And that's not me, you know, trying to pat myself on the back. That's me understanding that I've lost enough money over, you know, my time when I was trying to become profitable. I lost enough money through being arrogant and trying to assume, you know, I was right all the time, right? That hurts you in the end. At least it did for me. And, you know, changing that mindset to understanding and accepting when you're wrong was very, very key. Now, watching where this candle closes will be interesting, right? So if we did close like this, right? Let's say that we closed this market like that, right? That would be a pretty bearish indication. If we close in this area, to me, that would be bearish and a signal that we could see further downside. However, that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing price break above. And if we close above, if we close like this, right, that could be a bullish signal. So I'm watching how this candle decides to close here on XAU USD. For the most part here, even on the weekly chart, you can see we are at highs here for gold. Gold has been just moving and moving and moving to the upside. Really nice trend there. Right? What is your highest profits? I don't share how much money I make. That's both personal, like personal principle. I don't, you know, I don't find it's very necessary to talk about how much money you make, but also because it would not do you guys any good to see, and there's people doing it. Don't get me wrong. There's people everywhere that share, you know, I made $1 million in my Forex trading. I made, you know, $10,000 today, right? There's people doing that. That is not me. I don't share, you know, I do share occasionally, like, hey, I made, you know, profits here, or, you know, I made a good call here, or a losing trade here. I share that, don't get me wrong, but I don't talk about, you know, I made tons of money and here's my fancy car. That doesn't do the viewer any good. And it might get views and it might get clicks and subscribes, but it doesn't truly help people for, you know, a lot of people. Some people are motivated by it, and I get that. That can be motivating. But, you know, I think that it takes away from what I'm really about here on this channel and about in my company, which is sharing genuine content about trading and keeping everything else on the wayside, right? Focusing on what really matters to me, which is trading and investing, and sharing good content with you guys that's hopefully engaging and entertaining to you. So again, sharing how much money I make is not something I plan on doing. You know, I've thought about it. I've thought about sharing, you know, how much money certain trades make, and I've done it in the past, so don't get me wrong. I've shared, you know, I made, you know, $400, $500 on a trade, or $200 on a trade, or $50 on a trade. I've shared that, but, you know, I don't find that is, you know, as damaging as the people who are out there showing you, you know, $50,000 in gains, and they won't back it up with anything, right? So they're just showing you most likely a demo account with like $50,000 in gains, and people are like ooh and ah about it, when that doesn't really help the people who are watching. It just encourages them to go really big and to go try and make that sort of profit on their own account, which is dangerous, right? No need to show off. It's just not good for the people watching or for yourself. So I try and avoid it. I'm not perfect by any means, but that's kind of my principle with it. Keem says, I never share as well. All I say is I'm profitable. I agree. That's a good way to say it. And if you can back it up, that's also a key component. If you show a myfxbook.com track record with a verified broker, a good broker, you are going to be doing what 99% of gurus on the internet will not be doing. You can check out mine if you go to tradernickfx.com, go to the track record section. There's a link to my myfxbook.com. So with that said, gold is just going crazy to the upside. It's just really, really tearing. And so where it stops, I don't know. I wouldn't try and call a top at this point on gold. I think that, we are trading to the upside on the daily chart. We're above that 200 very clean, holding the bullish push very nicely on this pair. And so for the time being, maintaining that bullish outlook. And, I would potentially be interested if price came back for a pullback. That might be something to look out for. But for the most part, maintaining that 200 period moving average upside that we have been calling out for a while. So one trade that we were correct about is that longevity, that upward movement on gold. My bias has been bullish on this pair. So we were correct about that. We were not correct about the double top here, or at least I was not correct about that, right? My idea was that we would see some sort of pullback. We did not see that initially. We could still see that, right? If price decides to close very bearishly, like again, a pin bar or something, that could be bearish, right? But we'll see what decides to play out there on gold. Guys, I do want to take a moment to thank our sponsors here on the stream. We did actually land a sponsor, which is awesome. Again, I have brokers that contact all the time, saying, hey, we want to promote with you. And I'm very cautious about who I choose to put on the channel. Hopefully you guys can gather that or understand that. My goal is not to blast you guys with spam, but HYCM is our sponsored broker here. They are super awesome. The people that are there, the team that's worked with me have been very, very friendly with me. And so far they have, been a great sponsor to this stream. They've been a sponsor to the channel, and you can check out, they've got a lot of great services. The cool thing that I really like about them is that most players in the broker world have not been around as long as HYCM. They've been around nearly 40 years, 1977. They are very well regulated, and they offer a wide list of perks. They've got Forex, they've offer stocks, indices, cryptocurrencies, commodities. Again, you can check out their site. There is a link down below in the description. If you use that link, that would be super appreciated. They are kind of checking in on how well the stream supports. So go check it out. Go click around and see for yourself what kind of perks they have. If you're looking for a new broker, again, HYCM is quite an impressive one in my opinion. You could scroll through and see all the different perks. They have very tight spreads. They've got a really great customer support service, which to me is very, very important. If you're going to be working with a broker, they need to have a good customer support that's going to help you, right? When you work with unregulated brokers, deposits and withdrawals can be sketchy. But when you work with someone like HYCM, which is very well regulated, your money is in good hands. And for the most part, HYCM is a great sponsor of the stream. So definitely go check them out. Again, link down below in the description. Guys, thanks so much for watching the stream today. I do hope that you got something out of this content. And if you did, make sure you subscribe down below. Tune into a stream in the future. We do these every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. You can check it out. Make sure that you subscribe down below and also click that notification bell. That'll make it so that you can tune back in. If you guys would like to trade alongside me and you want to follow along with my trades live as they're happening, you can check it out by right at the top of the screen, tradernickfx.com. That's my website, and you can see all the different stuff that I'm up to. You can follow along with my VIP service that I offer, trades, that sort of thing. So make sure to check that out as well. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will see you back.